You're listening to Interviews, the podcast that cracks the entrepreneurship code. I'm your host, Laurent Autin. I'm an entrepreneur, coach to entrepreneurs, and startup mentor with more than 20 years experience running companies and advising entrepreneurs. Being an entrepreneur is the most difficult job there is. There are no practical guidelines. So join me every week and learn how you can better navigate your entrepreneurship journey and become an exceptional entrepreneur. This is episode 14 of my special series, The Entrepreneur Alphabet. I created this series so you can understand what it takes to be a successful entrepreneur and therefore make sure you don't become the bottleneck in your business. I share practical A to Z insights across 26 short episodes. Of course, as you guessed, 26 is the number of letters in the alphabet. And today we cover the letter N for network. Before getting deep into this topic, make sure to subscribe to my podcast so you never miss any new episode. If the world doesn't know that you exist, being the best doesn't matter. As a company's founder, it is your job, it's your duty to get yourself out there, to be visible, to be known, to create this awareness. As an entrepreneur, you should be great at generating awareness for your business. I couldn't agree more with David Blinoff, the founder of the F Company, who was my guest on Interviews Cracking the Entrepreneurship Code episode 40. Of course, advertising is one way to create awareness. But there's another one, often way more efficient. It's called networking. Networking is the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional or social contacts. It's not what you know, it's whom you know. Advertising isn't good enough because it doesn't provide your audience with a full picture. Plus, people want to talk to other people in your business, so they feel they're not just a number among others. As a leader of your business, you can't hide because people want to see you. Therefore, it's important to be seen, to talk to people, to listen to them, to connect with them, and to bring them into your business in the right way. And you do all of that through networking. Building a network is a skill. You must learn and practice in order to get better at it. Time for a short announcement. Entrepreneurs don't resist change. On the contrary, they embrace it. However, they do resist others pointing out their flaws and telling them what to do like they need to be fixed. This is why coaching is the perfect solution if you need help to overcome your challenges, because you're never told what to do. Instead, you implement changes based on your own terms. Now you're an entrepreneur, so I understand you may not be able to commit the time and the budget that one-on-one coaching often requires. Therefore, I created 365-15. Basically, it's a 1 year of unlimited 15-minute calls with me. It's perfect if you'd like to get coaching, but you have a limited budget or you don't want to engage in deep one-on-one sessions. What's the catch? None, it's more about whether you have the right profile. 365-15 comes at a one-off fee of 1,900 euros, but I'm discounting it to 1,700 euros. That is a 200 euros deduction just for you. So if you want it, log on my website www.laurentautin.com/365-15-registration. Leave your contact details on the form and make sure you mention Interviews Cracking the Entrepreneurship Code so you can enjoy the discount. Once again, www.laurentautin.com/365-15-registration. And now let's go back to the interview. So let me give you some practical tips to become great at building your network. Number one, be proactive. You can't expect things to come to you. You must make it happen. You must be active in your ecosystem. So you need to meet suppliers, clients, investors, competitors, other entrepreneurs, etc. You need to ask for help, give help, collaborate, exchange information, talk as much as you can with other stakeholders. Number 2, design a strategy. If you don't know about it, use the 5 W's and 1 H to build a plan of action. 5 W's stand for why, who, what, where, and when. And the H is for how. So for instance, why do you want to network? Who do you want to network with? What do you want to network about? Where do you want to network? When do you want to network? How do you want to network? There are many tactics you can use, such as attending conferences, using social media, volunteering for an organization or business association, joining industry groups, etc. I'm often asked, how do you build relationships with people? My answer is always the same. I ask in return, how do you build relationships with your friends and family? There's no secret. As I mentioned earlier, you must proactively maintain relationships. But in order to be able to continuously maintain those relationships, you must write a plan and stick to it. The network process does not end when you sign a contract. Number 3, work on your presentation pitch. How many times have you attended a meeting or a conference where people are given like 30 seconds to introduce themselves, but can't manage to do it in less than 2 or 3 minutes? There's nothing more boring than talking too much about you. So, learn to present yourself in less than 30 seconds. I will talk further about it when I tackle the letter R for revenue, because we will talk about sales. Number 4, include different layers of people within your network. It's not only about building a network of potential clients. You need to think broader. Who can help you get to those clients? What we call influencers. What about suppliers? What about investors? What about competitors? What about potential recruits? Think about your network this way. There's always someone who knows someone who knows someone who knows the right person. So you must define who those someones are and find them. I can give you an example. I spent 20 years in Southeast Asia, so 95% of my network was there. When I decided to move to Finland, where I did not know anybody, I looked within my network. As it happened, 2 persons I knew in Asia, and none of them were clients, by the way, had business acquaintances in Finland. Those 2 persons introduced me to the people they knew in Finland. And one of those persons became a friend and a client. Number 5, don't work the room. Don't you hate it when you receive a LinkedIn request to connect from someone outside your network who's immediately trying to sell something to you? Well, guess what? If you do the same, people will turn your back on you. Connecting with someone just to ask about business or to be introduced to their famous friend is a no-go. Number 6, use questions. I often hear, I don't know what to say when I network. You don't need to. Instead, you just need to find the right questions to ask. Then have a conversation like you would have with a friend. Another great approach is to find a topic that every interlocutor you're talking to is passionate about, like CrossFit for me. And remember, people love talking about themselves, and all it takes is one great question. Number 7, work on your social media profile. If the first thing you do after having met someone for the first time is to go on their LinkedIn profile, well, guess what? The chance that people who met you for the first time do the same is quite high. So make sure your profile is accurate. Don't inflate it to look better than what you are, because people will find out and then it's game over with them for you. Number 8, be patient. Don't expect immediate results. It's not because you have developed your first networking strategy and started implementing a few actions that things will change overnight. It's always the same. People need to know they can trust you before things start moving forward. So you need to spend your efforts on making a real connection with the people you network with. After all, there's a chance that others are trying to figure out how to network successfully with you. I am an advisor to the board of a startup called For Nomads Group. They help nomads optimize their finances efficiently. I first met one of the co-founders 7 or 8 years ago in Cambodia, where he had just arrived. It was at a networking event organized by one of the local business associations at a beer garden. We talked rugby with a glass of beer in our hands because he's a fan and it may have well been the World Cup or something like that. Because he's a financial advisor, we had a couple more conversations about it as I was looking for financial placements. And I thought I trusted him enough to become his client. Then we had a good relationship and we kept on seeing each other from time to time. Then I launched my coaching business like 2 years after our first meeting. I was his client. So I talked to him about my business. This is when he mentioned he was working on a startup project on the side. And he asked me how and if I could help. And then he became my client 4 years ago. And he still is. What's my point? Well, I told you. Patience is a virtue. Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, please share it with your network so we can inspire as many entrepreneurs as possible. Remember, don't be the bottleneck in your business. See you next time. Bye for now.